G'day mate. Today on the One Defense Pure we'll be taking on Desert Treasure 2, one of old school RuneScape's greatest quests with plenty of rewards to suit but with some of the toughest boss fights standing in our way. So strap in, strap on and let's get it done. Now this is quite a long quest, taking us about 4 hours to complete with the quest helper, so we'll skip through to each boss fight, and while I could fly through these bosses with the mega rare weapons, for the sake of showing you it's possible, we'll be staying in modest gear with no weapons above 60 attack. To start off, we'll want to be in our best melee setup with runes for each type of ancient spell. After starting the quest by uncovering the ancient vault, we travel deep into the dig site where we first come up against an ancient guardian. It has a 100 HP shield and another 100 HP afterwards, but attacking with melee will stop it from regenerating, while protect from melee will block its attacks. Though it will occasionally rain down rocks that can deal up to 25 damage, simply step out of the way and get back to it. Easy as. After charging up the golem and locating the guardian of each of the 4 medallions, it's time to hunt them down. We can do this in any order, but we'll follow the quest helper, so hit the bank and gear up in all 3 attack styles with runes for Ice Barrage, a crossbow or blowpipe, and your best slash weapon, as we're off to the Stranglewood to hunt down Vardorvis. We first come across Kasonde, who we need to defend from the incoming mob for a total of 3 minutes. We can use the barricades and explosives in the chests to our advantage. 2 chests are already unlocked, but you can complete the lockpick puzzles on the lock chests for extra supplies. But a couple of barricades along with Ice Barrage is easily enough to hold them back. Make sure to pick up the hammer and detonator to be able to use them, and then watch for Kasonde's directions on where to set up and freeze any that make it through. A magic setup works well throughout. It's not too difficult, but no need to worry. If you fail, you can just start over again. Once that's over, we travel throughout the Stranglewood, gathering ingredients for a potion. We'll have an infection meter that is drained by the nearby NPCs. Use the smoke bombs to play it stealthy, or just use the good old brute force method. If you become infected, you'll just be sent back to the last checkpoint, so it's all good to just send it. Once the potion's complete, we'll no longer have our sanity drained, allowing us to travel deeper into the woods. Hit the bank for a resupply if you need to, and bank your magic gear for extra supplies before heading back into the woods to hunt down the first of the 4 main bosses, Vardorvis. The fight focuses on movement and quick reactions and can get a bit scrappy towards the end as Vardorvis enrages. A slash weapon like the Dragon Simi or better is best, but it is possible to range if you've got a lower attack level. It has a melee based attack which we'll want to protect from, though it will still chip through prayer, so a Ring of Recoil or Suffering can help if you're lacking damage. It also has 4 special attacks that can all be avoided. It will routinely swing a set of axes across the 3x3 grid of the arena that will hit big and leave you bleeding. While these can be dodged on certain tiles with tick perfect timing, we're here to get it done rather than be efficient, so if it's your first time, it's better to just use your brain and dodge the axes by moving to the safe sections of the arena. Next, a large spike will shoot up and fire a green projectile at us. Click to protect range before it hits to avoid having your prayers disabled for a short time. Occasionally, there will be multiple spikes shot up around our location. Watch out for the broken ice and keep moving out of the way to avoid damage. And lastly, Vardorvis will shoot its cells all over our screen. Quickly wipe them off before anyone notices and get back into it. At 66 and 33% health, Vardorvis will enrage, increasing its attack speed and the effect of its special attacks while cutting its own defense. It will spawn extra axes and spikes and can get a bit hectic at the end, so save your spec weapon for the last phase to finish it quickly. Once Vardorvis has been defeated, take the temple key and get prepared for the next battle. Stock up on supplies if you're low while switching into your range gear before returning to Kasonde. Unfortunately, this fella's become infected, so we'll have to put him out of his misery. He has 240 HP and will attack with either melee or ranged, hitting up to 20 at a 3-tick attack speed while closing in on us throughout the fight. Protect from ranged while attacking with ranged and kiting around the room to avoid being attacked with melee while also watching out for its special attacks. Firstly, he will throw a few green and yellow potions, dodge them and avoid walking on or over the leftover pools to avoid taking damage as well as being venomed and having your prayers disabled. Lastly, he will hold still and charge up a big burst attack. To avoid this, get out of his line of sight by either hiding behind a pillar or just running away. Occasionally, he will heal himself for 25 damage throughout the fight, so it's a little bit of a DPS check, but he can also be flinched with melee if you want to get a few specs in to finish him off. As Kasonde goes down, we find out that he's already found the medallion and tried to trick us into some bullshit. so we head back to the barricades and search the stone chest to claim the first medallion. We return it to the ancient vault, but along the way we first encounter the mysterious figure. No need to worry, they only offer us a warning for now, but once we uncover each medallion, we'll need to stay ready for an ambush. Next up, we're off to the Scar on the search for the Leviathan. Gear up in your best range setup with a face mask or slayer helmet and bring plenty of prayer along with runes for smoke barrage. A blowpipe is good for getting through the puzzles, a crossbow with ruby and diamond bolts will put in work against the Leviathan, and the webweaver's spec will finish the job quickly. As we first stumble into the Scar, we come across a bunch of demons having a little bit of a scrap, pick them off one by one using the other demons to block their pathing and protect from melee if any get on you. Clear them out and progress through the Scar, completing all of the puzzles and burning down the ships. There's a few easy combat puzzles and a few needing a bit of brain work, but follow the quest helper and you'll be alright. Once all 3 ships have been burnt down, it's time for the showdown. Bank if you need to, then take the boat over to the island to face off with the mighty Leviathan. The mighty Leviathan. The fight starts off pretty simple as it attacks with its basic ranged and magic attacks. Avoid going within melee distance while protecting from the green and blue orbs respectively to avoid any damage. After each flurry, it will rain down boulders that will block out tiles while continuously enraging its attacks. The quest version will start at a super slow 5-tick attack speed, but will eventually speed up to 2-tick before introducing a melee orb and eventually speeding up to a 1-tick attack. But before things get too wiggly, we'll want to hit it with the Shadow Barrage. This will completely stun the Leviathan for a short amount of time, allowing us to run to its opposite side and shoot a shot, guaranteeing a hit, but afterwards it will fire off either one of its special attacks. First for us is the boulder attack, in which it will rain down 10 boulders from above. Walk along the edge while placing the boulders in a line, avoiding blocking off the arena or boxing yourself in while leaving a space in behind, as afterwards the boss will let out a big blast, dealing heavy damage to anything in its line of sight. After its special attack, it will reset its attack speed. No difference here, just keep working away and send out another smoke barrage before things get out of hand. Hit it from the back and it will hit us with its second special attack, the Lightning Barrage, in which a large spray of lightning is thrown at our location every 2 ticks. It won't attack with melee during this phase, so come in close and either start running laps while getting the occasional shot in, or with some tick perfect timing you can run back and forth right in front of its face. Once it goes under 20% or 144 HP, it will enter its final phase, while spawning a white abyssal orb. However, instead of damaging us, this orb will be the only thing keeping us alive, while also giving us a massive buff to our accuracy and minimum hit. If we haven't looted the area with boulders, it should spawn in the northwest corner, so be prepared as you send it below. Once the orb spawns, the Leviathan will attack with magic and ranged at a 2-tick attack speed. Stay within the 5x5 area of the orb as it moves east and circles around while flicking protection prayers and staying out of melee distance to avoid taking heavy damage. If you've brought the Webweaver, its special attack should wrap things up quickly with the boost from the orb. If not, just keep working away with the blowpipe or crossbow to finish it off. Once the Leviathan has been defeated, we're free to scavenge the shipwreck and claim Persaraya's medallion. Now, we never know when that mysterious fella's going to show up, so we hit the bank right away to restock and switch over to a magic and melee set before returning the medallion, but they waste absolutely no time hitting us right away in the middle of Edgeville Bank. Although you are able to escape rather than fight back, doing so isn't always so easy as the bigger fights like it's PvP. Not only does it attack with all 3 styles, making it impossible to protect from, it can also lock you in with teleblock, freeze with ice spells, heal with blood barrage, swap protection prayers every 3 hits, and even run you down. It's a fun but fairly difficult fight, so if you're keen for the challenge, stay strapped with multiple attack styles, protect from magic, spam click away after becoming frozen to avoid its special attack, and land some freezes of your own to slow down the fight. We were caught a bit off guard, but since we were hit at the bank, we were able to treat it like it was dead man mode and hit them with a freeze before hitting the bank and stocking up on some extra supplies. We eventually take them down, but they teleport out. The battle is won, but the war ain't over yet. We reset ourselves before sending it over to the Ghorrok Prison on the hunt for the Big Duke Sucellus. We enter the dungeon and immediately get jacked for all of our items, scavenge for supplies and make it through the puzzles before hooking up with the assassin and taking back your stuff. We now need to survive for 3 minutes against Jalan, the Majorat that's been hunting us down. We've got no chance of taking him down, so don't bother trying to fight back. Protect from magic and use the room to your advantage to avoid as many attacks as possible while dealing with his special attacks. If you're out of his sight for too long, you'll be teleported back to him, but no big deal. And if you get frozen in place, get ready to run away as his next shadow attack closes in. Run away at the last tick and the attack will be avoided. Next up, he will spawn in a few shadow clones, either stand out of their line of sight or take them out with melee. They've only got 1 HP, but be careful if you miss, as they'll be able to attack with melee if you come in close. After 3 minutes, the assassin will rock up and sort him out. Hit the bank if you're low on supplies and get yourself ready to duke it out with the big Sucellus. Bring your best 4-tick slash weapon as well as a 5-tick like the leaf blade or zombie axe if you want to optimize your damage, but for a counter with 50 attack or less, you'll be better off with ranged. To begin the fight, we'll first need to disrupt him by creating a few poisoned potions. Drop a few pieces of food before picking up a pestle and mortar as well as a pickaxe from the back wall. Head up the stairs and past the extremities, making sure not to get caught on the way by. Pick up 2 lots of mushrooms and crush them up with your pestle and mortar while heading over to the other side. The extremities will attack outwards in a triangle, only covering the one tile in the road directly in front of them, so if you run along the wall on the correct tiles, you'll be able to skip right past them. Collect and crush the second lot of mushrooms, then head into the center of the room and mine 12 salt. Throw all of the ingredients into the vats and let them cook. Drop the tools and pick up your food before taking your potions and feeding them to the big sucker on the wall. Once it's woken up, we'll be on for the fight. The Duke has 2 basic attacks, being a magic attack that is used if we're at a distance, and a 2-part melee attack that will be used if we're in close. Both attacks can deal up to about 30 damage, but for its melee attack it will first summon a set of spikes that can deal up to 12 damage before slamming down the tick after. The best tactic is to tank the spikes before dodging the slam, which can be effectively done by using the 2 pillars on either side of the Duke. Standing on the tile behind either of them will coax its melee attack while being out of range of the slam. Protect from melee and attack right after to give yourself the most amount of time, starting off with our 5-tick weapon to match its attack speed. Although you will still take chip damage from the spikes, behind the pillars is what we'll call our safe spot. As for its special attack, the Duke will attack with its big eye every 6 attacks, causing massive damage to anything within its line of sight. With a max hit in the 90s, it's very much capable of taking your head off in one hit, so hiding behind the pillars for this attack is an absolute must. As the fight goes on, the Duke will let out a gas attack through the vents on the floor, which will rapidly deal damage. It will start off with 1 but will increase to 2 as the fight goes on, send it over to the opposite pillar when these come out and get back to it. As we get the Duke down to 25% HP, it will enter its enrage phase. The only difference here is its attack speed increasing from 5 to 4 ticks, so throw on your 4-tick weapon and finish the sucker off. We take the key and claim our medallion. 3 down, 1 to go. Hit the bank and get out your best mage setup along with some freeze runes and your ring of visibility before heading into the Lasar Undercity on the search for the Whisperer. After going in and out of the underworld and solving all of the puzzles, we'll be ready for the fight. It's quite a unique boss as it gives us a special sanity meter and involves a few puzzles mid-fight requiring the Blackstone fragment you'll receive during the quest. For its basic attacks, it will start by firing a set of 3 magical range-based projectiles. Protect against them as they land to avoid any damage while dodging the tentacles that come up from below. They will only spawn diagonally from you in the first phase, which is easy to sidestep, but as the fight progresses, they will also spawn in line with you, meaning that you'll need to move diagonally to dodge or just do an L movement to avoid the attack either way. Once we get the boss down to 80%, it will begin its first special attack. There are 2 orders that these can come up in, but they're the same in either case. First up for us was the Shadow Seed attack. Hit the Blackstone fragment to enter the underworld where we can see the correct pattern before running along the highlighted seeds. Time spent in the underworld will drain our sanity, so we'll want to be quick, but a clean run will also restore some sanity while stepping on the wrong seeds will hurt, so it's better to be right than to rush. After each special attack, the Whisperer will return us to the overworld before locking us in place and closing in on us. If it gets within melee distance at any time, we'll get absolutely melted, so it's necessary to catch a freeze here. Once we do, it will go back to its basic attacks, but each time it will switch up its attack pattern. The second phase is similar. The projectiles are the same, but it will be able to attack in line with the tentacles, so watch your feet or start using some L movements. Keep on chipping it down, and at 55% health it will start its second special attack. Second for us was the Screech attack. For this one, the Whisperer will send it to the side of the room while spawning in a few pillars. Click the Blackstone fragment to enter the underworld and locate the pillars with low to medium to high health, as we'll let out 3 big screeches that will damage the pillars with an additional attack aimed at our location that can also be absorbed. Move behind the pillars from low to medium to high HP in between the screeches to avoid any damage. Back in the overworld, we'll be locked down once again, catch another freeze before going through another round. It will now start attacking with either 2 major range attacks while switching to the opposite for the third, requiring a 1-tick prayer switch to avoid being hit. Once it's down to 30% health, it will use its final special attack, this one being the Ghost attack. Send it back into the underworld, and if you've got a Venator bow, it's the only weapon capable of taking down all the ghosts, with each set giving us a minor buff if we do, but if not, just go for the 2 yellow ghosts, as we'll need to take down at least 1 set of the same ghost before it finishes charging up its attack. Once again, we'll be sent back into the overworld, catch another freeze and get back to work. This phase will start alternating its attack style between every attack, which can be a little tricky, but try to keep your prayer flicks and movements in tune with its attacks as you finish off the last of its health. Once it hits 0, the Whisperer will enrage, restoring 100 HP and pulling us into the underworld for the final phase. It's pretty simple, but still intense. Our sanity will be constantly drained and any damage taken will also take a good chunk, so we'll need to finish it off as quickly as possible. It will always start with 2 ranged attacks into 2 magic attacks and repeat while continuing the tentacle attack. If you're having trouble dodging, it can be easier to just run around while focusing on prayer switches, just make sure to not go within melee distance. Once we finish the fight, we search the tendrils to claim the final medallion. But we're not done yet. Head straight to the bank and restock while gearing up into attack styles of your choice, as on the way back to the ancient vault, the mysterious figure will get one up on us. They lock us up and pinch all of our stuff along with the medallion, but we break out of their prison before facing off one last time. It's not much different to the earlier fights. Protect from magic to prevent it from healing while dodging its special attack at the last tick if you become stunned, and swap attack styles after every 3rd successful hit. It can be quite a tough fight on a pure, as we'll be constantly taking damage. It took 2 attempts myself, but focus on keeping up your own damage and you'll be able to outlast them. Finish them off and take back what's yours. Hit the bank again and get ready for the final showdown. Getting your best melee and ranged gear with a fast weapon like the blowpipe and a high damage spec weapon like the dragon dagger or claws. Finally, we return to the ancient vault where we unlock the seal to the Frost and Horn, and of course all hell breaks loose as we discover the lies and deceit of the Majorat named Sleeskay, who then summons his minions to fight the battle for him. While the rest of the squad is defending themselves against the Barrows brothers, we'll have a few familiar opponents to take down ourselves, all of which need to be completed in a single attempt. Firstly, we go up against the Assassin. He's able to avoid all of our regular attacks and will attack randomly with either melee or ranged while pouring out purple and white smoke clouds. Can protect from range and lure him on top of the white smoke clouds to be able to damage him while avoiding the purple clouds and dodging the occasional set of potions that he throws. We'll definitely be taking a bit of damage in the first 2 fights, so try to get them over as quick as you can. Once he goes down, we'll be straight into the next fight. Next up is Ketla, who will only attack with ranged but will chip through prayer and use a special attack after every 2 attacks. It will firstly summon a bunch of clones that will also chip through prayer. On a 1 defense, we'll want to take them out quickly. They've only got 1 HP, but make sure to leave at least 2 alive, since for the second special attack, Ketla will charge up and fire off 1 or 2 big shots that will hit big and heal her. To avoid these, we'll need to stand behind the clone and have them take the shot for us. Be prepared to move between shots and then just keep working away as the cycle repeats. For the third fight, we'll be facing off with Kasonde once again. The fight is practically the same as before, either kite with ranged or flinch with melee while protecting from ranged. His special attacks are a bit more powerful this time. His potions will inflict corruption rather than venom, and as the fight goes on, he will hit us with multiple shockwave attacks in a row that will cover the majority of the arena. However, this time he will dash towards the center before unleashing in our direction, so run towards the center and be prepared to skip to the open side. Try to keep the rest of the fight to the outside of the arena to avoid littering the center with potions. He won't heal this time, so no rush, just keep working away while avoiding as much damage as possible. Lastly, we face off with Persten the Deceitful. He has a magic base attack along with 2 dangerous special attacks. Firstly, she will charge up lightning strikes all around the arena, watch for the shadows and dodge the strikes. As the fight goes on, she will increase the number of rounds up to 3 in a row, which can get a bit chaotic, so you want to finish off the last of her HP as quickly as possible. Secondly, she will spawn in 1 or 2 portals at the end of the room, which will continuously spawn leeches that will sap our HP if they get close. They move quite slow and don't need to be killed, so you can either play it safe and take out the portals and leeches, or go all out on Persten and finish her off while avoiding the leeches. Dump your specs at the end of the fight and finish it off once and for all. Sleeskay will then teleport out with the horn, leaving us with some parting words that we'll meet once again, but for now the battle is over and our quest is complete. Cheers for watching, hit the sub button and stay tuned for the next video where we'll be testing out each of the rewards. We'll catch you then. Peace.